Good morning. It is Youth Sunday at Ronsford Presbyterian Church, which I'm so excited about. I love Youth Sundays. If you can at all come in person, please come in person today. Or you can tune in on YouTube to our live stream. If you cannot, however, here's a little mini sermon from John chapter 6, 1 to 15, about a young person who had a big impact on Jesus' ministry. So please pause now, read John 6, 1 to 15, then come on back with me. Everybody knows the story of Jesus feeding over 5,000 people with a couple loaves of bread and a couple fish. That story you just read in John chapter 6. Nobody, however, seems to remember where Jesus got the loaves and the fish. It came from a little boy who gave his lunch to Jesus. But before we dive into that, you've got to realize everything that led to it, because that makes it all the more meaningful. Jesus at this point in his ministry was just on fire. Everywhere he went, everyone was wild about him. He performed miracle after miracle and had the whole countryside Ooh, excuse me, summer allergies. Everywhere he went, he performed miracle after miracle, had the whole countryside talking. Everybody wanted a piece of Jesus. Imagine a Taylor Swift concert. That's what it was like for him every single day. And after a while, all Jesus wanted was a little break. So he went up on a mountain to pray, by himself, far away from the crowds below. But, like a bunch of Swifties, they followed him up the mountain. The crowds did. And they too grew tired and hungry. But they didn't have anything with them to eat. Neither did the disciples. And so Jesus asks Philip, well, where can we buy some bread so that people have something to eat? Philip looks around, surely exasperated when Jesus asks this question, and basically says, come on, man, we don't have that kind of money. Look at how many people are here and hungry. We can't feed them. And then Andrew spots a little boy who brought his lunch with him that day. 5 little loaves of bread, 2 fish. My kind of kid. He left the house prepared with food each day. Brought his own food. Had enough for himself, and maybe some to share with another person or two. I don't ever carry cash with me, but I do always try and have food. Priorities, people. I digress. Andrew spots the boy who brought his lunch, and he says, well, look, this little fellow's got his lunch with him, but that's not enough. Jesus instructs him, have everybody sit down. And before long, you know how the story goes, everyone has their fill at lunch. Every single person. Because Jesus multiplied the loaves and the fish, yes, but also because a little boy gave his lunch to Jesus. He could have said no. That's my lunch. I brought it today. I prepared for this. And it's not my fault that nobody else did. My blood sugar is going to dip too low. My mom made this lunch for me. He could have said no in any number of ways, but instead, he selflessly gives his lunch to Jesus so that everyone could eat. And he didn't receive any credit, didn't receive any praise, didn't receive any recognition. He just did it because it was the right thing to do. The thing that I love about this story is that nobody in the crowd, before this moment, nobody in the crowd would have given that kid a second look. There's nothing special, nothing different about him. He's just another boy in a crowd of thousands of people. No one could have imagined this little fellow carrying his little lunch sack could have made their day and been the key to their day. Not just their day then, but to the faith of billions of people then into the future. because this is one of the big miracles. Jesus says many. I don't know that one is more important, more amazing, more faithful than another, but this is a big one. This is one that so many people think of when they think of Jesus. And this little kid held the keys. My point is, God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. Every single day, God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. The boy was an ordinary kid, and God used him to feed thousands physically right then, but to feed billions spiritually in generations to come. And I'm particularly glad that this story comes on Youth Sunday, when throughout the summer we're doing a sermon series on some of the forgotten figures of the Bible, because God is also using ordinary kids today to do extraordinary things. We are all so proud of the youth here in our church, of Noah and Caroline and Lakin and Christian and Kinsley and Harrison and Owen and Nora, and we cannot wait to see what wonderful, extraordinary things God has in store for their lives. So please be a part of our Youth Sunday today, and let all God's people say, Amen.